Alright, so this is kind of a weird angle, low quality made video, but I wanted to talk about something important to cosplay. And a question that a lot of newer or first time convention goers have, or even people who've gone to conventions but is their first time cosplaying. What kind of prop can I use with my cosplay? So, the first thing I'm going to say is look up your convention site's rules. Some have very strict rules, some are very loose, some might even not have good details as to what you're allowed to bring, what you're not allowed to bring. But for the times that you can't find information, or maybe you just don't have the time to look up information, I'm going to give some ground rules that I have for myself. First things first, it's going to be around airsoft guns. This is not loaded, there is no battery in it. I will not be removing the magazine or anything that YouTube would get angry at. Generally, airsoft guns are going to be a no for me, personally. You know, there's just too many times I've seen people have to go put their prop back in their car because it was a fully functional airsoft gun. And I understand why conventions don't want that. I've been shot with airsoft guns quite a bit, and they are not fun to get hit by. Now imagine that, but no one has eye protection on. You see what I mean? And even though I know airsoft guns are often the most affordable option or approachable option for cosplays, I don't recommend them, simply because most conventions will not allow you in with an airsoft gun. Some might, but that's going to be a rare exception and will be up to the discretion of the staff. Next thing I want to mention is a interesting phenomenon I've noticed at conventions. So when it comes to knives, this is a rubber training knife. Here's a real one. At conventions, I've noticed sometimes they will be selling dull steel blades in the convention. Once again, rule of thumb for myself is I don't recommend bringing in anything made of actual metal. I recommend sticking with like a rubber blade or a wooden or an epoxy resin type blade, just generally to prevent any possible issues of getting into the convention. There is nothing worse than having your weekend immediately get upended before you got in the door. So, rule of thumb, for me personally, no real steel blades either. So what does that leave us with? No airsoft guns, not even dull knives. So here's what I'm gonna say. You've generally got two options at that point, three options really at that point. First one I'm gonna go over is probably the most approachable, but limited, toy guns. So this is a very kiddie toy gun. This is going to be almost guaranteedly convention safe. You know, it's bright orange, bright green, very toyish. This won't look the best on camera, but if your cosplay requires a gun and you can find a model that matches your cosplay, it's an option. However, I'm going to give a caveat to toy guns with that second example. This was a bright green toy gun, just like that one, same series. I still left a little bit of green on its charging handle. This can't shoot anything. The magazine is non-removable. The trigger does nothing. It's a toy gun, but it looks pretty good. I got this together for my Ghost cosplay, which I'm working on. However, toy guns have a downside. Durability. I mean, you can hear this thing creak, and there's just a low qualityness to it. Also, if you were to drop this, it's probably going to break. Well, next option that a lot of people go to is 3D printed props. And I think 3D printing can be really good if you have a good print and good filaments. This is, or was, my A280. There's a video of it on my channel, however, no longer will this be going to conventions with me. It was great for about the first year or so I had it, but then I dropped it at the right height, at the right angle, and it is being held together by a hope and a prayer right now. 3D printing can have problems, particularly fragility, just like the toy guns. So what does that leave us with at that point? If you don't have toy guns, you can't use airsoft guns. You know, Nerf guns are an option, but conventions might not want you having any projectile firing prop. So what does that leave us with? My personal favorite, the one I've been purchasing the most in recent times, foam props. Foam prop guns, rubber blades as aforementioned. These are durable, they're a little flexible, but generally they look pretty good when you buy them. This is bone stock. You know, here's another example. Here's a 10mm pistol from the Fallout series. Like, this looks pretty good. Give you a long gun example, Boba Fett's blaster. And I'm really noticing foam props are getting a lot better than they used to be, the options wise, for sure. I mean, and you can scale up from here. Like, let's say you wanted something very specific, very niche. Here's a Merida assault rifle from Starship Troopers. I love Starship Troopers, and this was just the coolest prop I could get. And here's the coolest part. This big old prop, if you were to 3D print this, you're gonna spend well over $100. This was 60 bucks. Like, dang, that's cool, right? The other thing is, a lot of these, the only thing you gotta do is just do the tips in with a black nail polish. However, your convention will have rules. Some may require an orange tip, others may not, and so on and so forth. That's really all I had to say. Sorry about the really low quality production of this video, but it's a nice little PSA that I think some people might have needed to hear.